Santa Barbara's housing crisis is driven by low supply and high demand, and your news channel set out to investigate. What's it really like to rent in Santa Barbara and Isla Vista, and how much are people paying? The answers may surprise you.
And News Channel reporter Mina Wahab partnered with NewsHawk's Daniel Green, who joins us here live on the set, digging into the true cost of living in what many still call paradise. We first turn to Mina with a closer look at the numbers and the conditions. Mina?
The median cost for a one-bedroom apartment in the Santa Barbara County is close to $3,000, but the median rent for a one-bedroom has increased steadily since 2016, when the median rate was $1,695 per month, and has increased to $2,841 per month in 2025. Now, a two-bedroom apartment has increased to $3,850 per month compared to $2,225 in 2016.
When I tell people that I live with 17 people and that I'm paying what I am paying to be in a quad is nuts.
Annika Hando is a fourth-year UC Santa Barbara student, and she pays $1,600 a month to live in this loft, and that doesn't even include utilities. It comes with a washer and dryer, but the landlord charges by the load.
Oh, you can see a big chunk of it that's fallen off over there and how much further out the deck used to be.
This oceanfront property on Del Playa Drive is going for a whopping $25,000 a month. And even though you're getting a view of the ocean, the tenants that we spoke with said that there are several issues on the inside, including black mold and the occasional flooding.
We have mold up in the showers that we just live with.
And it's not just mold, it's also mushrooms.
So they grow from here. That's one of them. You kind of see it, and then they grow from here.
Residents in Isla Vista hope Santa Barbara County's new one-year pilot rental property inspection program will lead to improvements. But even outside of Isla Vista, the situation isn't too glamorous. Many school districts are losing good teachers because even workers with multiple degrees can't afford life on the Central Coast.
We love being out here, but realistically, it's not a sustainable place for a PhD student and an elementary school teacher to afford.
Devin Cabelli teaches in Lompoc, so a portion of her salary goes towards travel. She and her partner have struggled to find a listing without roommates or one that allows pets. Right now, Cabelli and her partner pay a combined $3,000 a month on the border of Goleta and Santa Barbara for their apartment.
It's an insane ask for what we're getting out of it. Our place has no storage. But it is also like the most affordable place that we can find. There's no cheaper options. We've looked into it.
The median rent in Santa Barbara is close to $3,000 for a one-bedroom apartment. Now, for a two-bedroom apartment, it jumps up to nearly $4,000. And that's not including any utilities.
Everyone says it's very expensive, but I just feel like I'm kind of used to it, you know? Like I'm just like, this is what it is.
According to the 2025 rent survey for the South Coast, the annual income to afford the median monthly rent of $2,883 for a one-bedroom apartment is $115,300. The hourly wage to afford that price is $55.43.
And it is really interesting. Joining us now is Daniel Green, NewsHawk reporter who collaborated on this project with Mina. Now, the numbers are pretty staggering. $3,000 for a one-bedroom apartment, especially when you compare those numbers to previous years. Now, I'll ask both of you this question, but what's the one thing that stood out to you? I'll start with you while you were putting this project together.
I think the thing that really stood out to me is every time we talked to someone, everyone said, oh, we're lucky. Because everyone has a story about someone who had it worse, someone who paid more, who had more roommates, who had a worse apartment. So no matter how bad their place was, you saw some of them, they said, we're lucky though, every single person.
Were they lucky just because they got a place?
Yeah, that, and they all had stories of someone who had a worse experience.
All right. Wow, interesting.
Having mushrooms in your bathroom is pretty bad. Mina, what about you?
I think, yeah, that's terrible. I would not want to pay as much as they were paying for that place to have mushrooms in my bathroom. But one thing that definitely stood out to me, I mean, even just looking at the stat of $100,000 as an annual salary being considered low income, that is mind-blowing. That you can't even afford a place to rent, let alone, you know, the dream of buying a home now feels so far-fetched in a place like this.
You know, obviously you come from a television background and you come from a print background. How was the collaboration? How did it progress? And I want to hear from both of you on that.
It was a lot of fun, honestly. I think what's cool about TV is that this is such a visual medium that sometimes you might hear a stat or read something in print and not realize how bad it is until you actually visually see what's going on in these places. And we were lucky enough to talk to people in Isla Vista who were just so open. We're like, yeah, come take a look at our place. Like, we'll show you how bad the conditions are. And a lot of these students just felt like they couldn't advocate for themselves because between studying for finals and all of the things that come with learning how to be a young adult, it's a really daunting task to now have to advocate for yourself and find an attorney who will fight on your behalf for something that should not be the case.
Sure.
How was the collaboration for you?
I thought it was great. I mean, it was a different experience for me because I don't usually do visual media beyond photos. But like the thing I like about print is that we can really dig into facts and statistics and things like that. And it's like we try and tell a story and really get the details and really paint the whole picture that you don't really do on TV.
Yeah, we were talking just before you went on air, and you were talking about the Bluffs specifically and what that was like for you, because I think that was eye-opening for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, I've only been in Santa Barbara for about a year. So I've heard stories about Isla Vista, I heard stories about how bad it was and mold and things like that. I had no idea until I actually went down there and saw it for myself.
Yeah,
And you really have to have it from the beach perspective looking up to see how severe that erosion is. And that's something we've done multiple stories on over the years. Yeah. All right. So another topic will be coming up soon. We're running out of time, but we love the collaboration. Mina?
Definitely. I mean, there's so much more to dig into, specifically the conditions that people are living in.
Sure.
This is really just the surface that we were able to skim, but there is so much more content that we've shot, so many more conversations that we had. So we're really looking forward to partnering again.
All right. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Yeah, we can't
Appreciate
wait for
it.
the next collaboration. All right, thanks again.